It's time for basketball, and Uber Eats is dropping deals on game day favorites to keep you locked in on the action. Like when you're craving a buzzer beater, but also buffalo wings. Or when an upset makes you want to ugly cry into a pizza. And right now, Uber Eats has game day deals from Burger King, Buffalo Wild Wings, KFC, and hundreds more local favorites. So you can keep your eyes on the ball and your hands on a burger. Order now, only on Uber Eats. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
Brace the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started today at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does, without me lifting a finger. So I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
Uh-oh. The last cookie.
You can get a new box of cookies in as fast as an hour with Walmart Express Delivery.
Are you my guilty self-conscience?
No, I'm the voice offering you promo code EXPRESS for free delivery on your first order.
Hey, who ate my cookies?
You mean, these cookies?
Order now. Welcome to your Walmart. Promotion valid for first express delivery order. $50 minimum subject to availability. Restrictions apply.
Welcome back to the Skating Penguin Network, everyone. It is your host, Robbie, here again, joined by Snail on the other end of the line. And we have a doubleheader to talk to you guys about tonight. Saturday's game against the New Jersey Devils and Tuesday night's game against the New York Islanders. But before we dive into those two contests, we'll throw it over to Snail. Snail, how are things out west?
Well, things are actually pretty good out west, weather-wise and everything, but, dude, I thought I broke my thumb yesterday. I haven't gotten x-rays on it yet. I might have broken my thumb. It's pretty ugly.
All wrapped up if you're listening.
Yeah, I got a thumb stabilizer here. It's a funky little brace, but I still participate in skateboarding. I'm a skateboarder. I was skateboarding after work, after a beautiful day. Got done working, had a little bit of daylight left, said I'm gonna go push around. Thought I snapped my thumb in half, I gotta be honest with you. Like, I fell on this thing and it bent in ways that a digit should not bend. And I didn't panic, but it was one of those moments where I got up and I grabbed my thumb to literally just almost like in disbelief, like, is it still connected? And it was. And I just monitored it for a little while, and then it immediately ballooned up. It sucks, but you know what? I took it on the chin. I'm a man. Other than that, though, Robbie, things are pretty good out here in the Pacific Northwest. Spring is here, and it's baseball's coming around. I think we had our first MLB game out in Japan, right?
Yeah, the LA Dodgers and Chicago Cubs played a 2-game series in Tokyo. So
tough for the Cubs.
Tough for the Cubs. Tough way to start your season. But yeah, baseball season, not official opening day. That's next Thursday.
Right.
But yeah, the weather out here has been spectacular. It was 75 degrees today. Perfectly sunny. Beautiful day. Came home from work and just like, we're going outside. We're not doing nothing else. It's a beautiful day. At least the sun and stuff is supposed to stay. Temperatures are going to dip back down to a more seasonable 50, 55 degrees for the next couple of days. But anything's better than snow and freezing temperatures, so I'm not going to complain too much. I'm just going to enjoy it while I can. And good news, all 10 of my fingers are completely intact.
Well, nice.
So Between us, we have 19 functional fingers.
19 functioning fingers.
Which is, I mean, yeah, not great, but it could be worse. The thumb literally could have ripped off your hand. But
I thought it did for a second.
Yeah, just say that you did it playing hockey. You were getting a little too fired up about the pens and took it out on a wall or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
College me probably would have been a little worked up, but no, it's good that at least your finger's still attached. That's a good. But I'm sure you've hurt yourself many a time since you're a skateboarder.
Oh yeah,
doing all kinds of flips and tricks in the skate park, and with your pals out there. And Seattle's a big skateboarding city, right?
Oh yeah, big time, huge skate scene out here.
Yeah.
There's a cool one in Pittsburgh too, but I could talk about skateboarding.
Yeah.
But Robbie, dude, the Penguins had 2 games.
They did
since the last time we chatted. One game I was going to say that the game before last against Jersey.
Yeah.
Didn't foresee the game going the way that it did.
Not at
all. Then there was a game that happened. Well, I was worried that we were going to win 5 in a row.
Well, they almost did.
I know.
But we'll start on Saturday against the Devils. And for the past 2.5 years, the Devils have absolutely owned the Penguins. And Devils are beat up right now. They're struggling. But the Penguins just kind of took them to the woodshed in this hockey game. The Devils did score. Our old friend Cody Glass
knew that was coming too. I knew that was coming.
Probably. But old friend Cody Glass opens the scoring. But from that point on, the Penguins really pointed on. You and I were texting back and forth a bit. Connor Dewar and Connor Timmins. What in the world? These guys were just like picked up off the scrap heap. Connor Dewar scores twice against the Devils.
Connor McDewar.
Yeah, Connor McDewar. Yeah, for real. Danton Heinen gets on the score sheet, and this time officially we can say it. Ricard Raquel, goal number 31 on the season. So Snail's prediction.
No doubt about it.
No doubt about it. Back on. Tomasino has been really playing good hockey again.
Looks good.
Scored in this game. The Devils did creep back in with 2 power play goals. The Penguins got a little, we'll call it reckless.
Yeah.
In the early of the third period there, the penalty kill is just absolutely dreadful right now.
Yeah, the bottom fell out of that one.
Yeah, it's been really bad. But then it's 4-3, but the Penguins score 3 in a row then to ice the game. Erik Karlsson, Connor Dewar, again, as I said, his 3rd of the season. And then Kevin Hayes gets Kevin Hayes in the double digits. Great to see a guy like Hayes. I hope he hangs around next year because I think on a team that's going to be still kind of working out the bumps, I think a guy like Hayes could provide a lot to this team. And if things are if he's playing well and things are bad, a guy that could net you something at the trade deadline.
Yeah, I'd hate to see Kevin Hayes go because I actually think he's really important to this hockey team. And it's not because, he scores 10 goals for you this year, mostly playing on the 4th line with some power play time. I think that's the right amount of goals for what he brings. If he could get you a little bit more than that, he's having a great year. That's great. But dude, I think him and Sidney Crosby work well on the power play. I think that Kevin Hayes' big body, he can play center, he can play wing. He's got plenty of skill. I know that his defensive game has gotten him in a lot of trouble in the past. Like I remember him and Tortorella did not get along well.
No.
Sullivan is cut from a similar cloth as Tortorella, but not so maniacal. They're both Boston guys. I think that Sullivan and Kevin Hayes have kind of worked on what they are. I think that they've worked on stuff this year because remember, Hayes sat for like 10 games.
He sat for a long time. He sat for one may have been like a brief injury, but then he was a healthy scratch for 9 or 10 games. He only has 53 games played this year.
Yeah.
The Penguins are at 65 or 66 or something like that. So, I mean, he missed 13 games, and I think at least 9 or 10 of those are because he's a healthy scratch back in November, December sometime. And he came back and he was good right away. Like he made an
He
instant
was.
impact, and you kind of think that maybe, again, they were actually playing good hockey just in general at that time as a team. That was their best stretch of the season. But yeah,
He was a part of it though.
Yeah, he was, and he's provided. 10 goals, but I think he definitely provides more than just your offense as well. He's not going to be a guy that goes out there and scores 20, 25 goals. But if they enter next year and he is your 3C or even 4C, if they make enough moves that they can push him to 4C, I'm completely happy with Kevin Hayes on this team for another season.
Kevin Hayes at 4C, but getting first unit power play time, I kind of like that a lot. And
yeah, I think he's a big body that can play in front of the net. No reason that he can't go out there and still contribute to this team and at 5-on-5 and in special team situations.
Is Connor Dewar going to make an effort to get onto the power play? He's got.
At this point, like I think you're looking at two guys that, like when they came over, they're both RFAs this summer. Are you thinking that both of them are in Pittsburgh next year, Connor Dewar and Connor Timmins?
I'm signing Connor Dewar or Dewar, whatever his name is.
We'll figure it out.
I'm signing Connor Dewar, and I think that if there's actual interest around the league for a guy like Connor Timmins, I'd say smell you later. He's a right shot D-man, and those, a young right shot D-man.
That
can put the puck in the net. But I'd say if you can get him to like a Chad Ruedel type contract, I'd sign me up for that all day, because this kid's he's bringing some spunk and providing some offense. It's kind of like, you remember Mark Friedman, the Mark Friedman experiment?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like he's not as feisty and angry and as a wild man as him, but like he provides what like I kind of wish that Mark Friedman could have provided for the Penguins. He provides more offense than that Ruedel. Who was that other fella that the Penguins had that they ended up trading to Colorado? He's a feisty little dude. His dad played in the NHL.
Trade him this year?
Yeah, I think it was at the beginning of. God, was it this year? Or was it? It's all blending together. But
was it Ludwig?
Yes, Ludwig.
Yeah, he was a waiver wire guy.
Oh, he was just waiver wire.
Yeah,
Colorado picked him up.
Yeah.
I think Connor Timmins is kind of providing you what those guys could have been, but he's got better touches on offense. So I wouldn't mind seeing both of them back in Pittsburgh. Nothing ridiculous, no Dubas Marner type contract, nothing like that. But I would like to see them both back. What about you, Robbie? Are they making enough of an impression on you that you're like, I wouldn't mind seeing these guys back here next year within reason?
Oh yeah, obviously within reason. But again, as pending restricted free agents, they don't have. They're not going to cost an arm and a leg. I think there's two very fair contracts that you can get done for those two guys, especially when you don't know what's coming with trades and guys possibly leaving in the offseason. Another guy that needs to be, he's under contract for next season, but he needs to be here hopefully longer than that. That is Vladislav
Kolyachonok.
Dude, I don't know what Utah was doing, but
I don't either.
Listen, this dude, he just looks very effortless when he plays. He's very smooth, and everything I've seen out of this kid so far, I've absolutely loved, and I hope that that keeps going, because if he would just be a piece and not like, again, not a first line or first pairing guy, but like a solid second pairing, a guy that can throw in some offense, man, at $700,000 next year, that is basically for free. And that would be fantastic if he could continue to develop and nail down a spot in this blue line.
Yeah, I don't understand what I've been waiting to see. What is it about this guy that Utah gave up on so quickly?
Yeah.
But he's big, great skater. Good. He's good at handling the puck.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not Chris Pronger, and he's also not, doesn't have the Erik Karlsson type of offense to him, but steady Eddie, good defenseman. If his development continues to go upward, and there's no regression, or like I've been saying, a shoe that drops, dude, that guy could be the second pairing for D-man for the Penguins for the next like 10 years. If he's young enough. And the way he controls the puck, and like I said, smooth skater. The way he skates, very impressive. He's pretty big too. Like he's not Hedman out there, but he's a big D man, and it just seems like a steal. I mean, I'm not even kidding, Robbie. I'm not trying to get ahead of myself, but I was watching him skate behind the net and control the puck and making a good breakout pass. I was looking at that and I was like, this guy's further along than Owen Pickering.
Yeah, he looks really good.
Owen Pickering, we praised Pickering, and I still think Pickering, his future is bright as a good defenseman in Pittsburgh. That Kolio Chonok's doing more for me than Pickering did in his stint with the Penguins. I mean, he's a little older, but I was like, geez, the young decor. I mean, I doing more for me than POJ has done in his 2 stints with the Penguins type of guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. P.O. Joseph has just been, the reunion has not been great, but they get this guy off of waivers. And again, Dubas has had success with guys. I mean, Ludwig was a solid piece. Ryan Shea is in his second, working on he signed an extension, will be here for the third season. And now Kolio Chanok has been better than I think pretty much you can expect a guy off waivers. Playing very well. I love what we've seen from him, and I really hope that we see more from him, not just this year, but next year as well, because if that development keeps going, he just looks like a guy that could really piece it all together.
I mean, dude, he's penciled in. I mean, I've seen him on that first pairing.
Yeah,
he's playing. I don't know. I should look. I don't know what his minutes are, but he's playing like big minutes, and he's looking. And he's a part of the Penguins. We'll get to it in a second, I'm sure. But the Penguins have, unless you've been living under a rock, the Penguins have won 4 of 5. Kolio Chonok's been a big part of that back end in these victories.
Yeah. He played. Let's see. He played 12 minutes against New Jersey and 14 minutes against the Islanders. So he is seeing a tick up in ice time. He has
he's earning it.
He has an assist in each of the last 2 games. Let me see what else. Yeah, 2 assists assists each in the last 2 games. Just playing really good hockey. And again, former second round pick. He's still only 23. He'll be 24 in a couple months. So everything you see out of this guy definitely looks like a player that could, if he can continue to develop and works in the system, could be in Pittsburgh for an extended time, because I love what I'm seeing.
Love what I'm seeing as well, man.
All right, so they beat the Devils 7-3. Everybody's feeling good. The Penguins have won 4 in a row. They played a good 40 minutes of hockey against the New York Islanders. The last 20 was very, very bad hockey.
They reverted back. Something about the Islanders are so bad and so annoying that they just brought the stink out of this team.
Yeah, they play this game against them all the time. They get an early lead. They hang on to it for a while.
Kyle Palmieri turns into like Pavel Datsyuk.
Yeah. And again, everything was going pretty well. They were getting outshot, but Jari was playing excellent. Juna Koponen, his first career NHL goal on a deflection. And then Sidney Crosby, his 24th of the season. It's 2-0 after 1. It stays 2-0 after 2. Tristan Jarry at this point is playing really, really good in this game.
I was looking at Tristan Jarry. At this point, just to set the table, I'm not sure if I'm loving this or hating this at this point. The Penguins look like they're on their way to 5 straight. Jarry looks like he's, a number 1 goaltender. There's no questions or ifs in his game, ifs about him in his game. I at this point, I don't really know how I'm feeling. How are you feeling at this point, looking at this team in front of you? And be honest, did you start thinking about the first round of the playoffs?
No. Okay. I looked at the standings, and with the game differential and games played, I think somebody after the Devils game, I think to get to like an 89 point threshold, which would be basically what you'd need to get in, they'd have to go 12-1-1 the rest of the way.
Jesus Christ.
So we got the one loss out of the one regulation loss. They have to get points in 13 straight. But no, if it would have been like, if they would have like 5 extra games, then I'd say, okay, if they can keep this up, maybe, but they need to be literally nearly perfect from here on out.
And
and
this
they
is
have to
not
go
a nearly perfect club.
No, and they have to go to Florida next week. I'm sorry, I just don't see it happening. As much as people want it to happen, I just can't sell myself on it. But as for Tristan Jarry, pump up that trade value, baby.
Yeah, for real.
I don't get.
Still want. He needs to go. I don't care.
Yeah, I'd rather undo the tank and him just be like Vesna quality for the next 4 weeks. Again, if Gavin McKenna was on the line, I'd probably be ticked. But the draft isn't that great. The Rangers are sucking, so you might end up with that second first round pick next year anyway. Yeah, I just pump up the trade value. There's got to be a GM out of there dumb enough to do it.
Well, there certainly is. You know that there's probably teams watching him, and there are light bulbs going off in GM's heads.
Jim Rutherford is losing his mind right now. Jim Rutherford is belt unbuckled.
Yes, I was going to say he's Jim Rutherford is what's his name from Silence of the Lambs.
Hannibal Lecter?
He's Hannibal Lecter in the chair, like he's in a straitjacket, just like they need to keep him contained because he's watching this and he's absolutely losing his mind.
Say he's got half chub.
He's got half chub for sure. He might be full chub. But yeah, there's goalie situation out there in Vancouver. I know he's looking at Tristan Jarry and he's like, I think I found our answer in net.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably already blown up Kyle Dubas' phone. Like,
they had
like
conversation.
Whenever the season's over, you call me first.
Patrick Alvin has like tried to like hide Jimmy Rutherford's phone at this point, probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, his Motorola Razr.
The one the same one he's probably used since right after the Shiro administration.
Yeah. Yeah, he's using the same. He's using that Nokia that you can't kill.
Yeah, he hasn't had to charge it since he was in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but no, they completely collapsed in the third period of this game against the Islanders. It starts
letting Pierre Engvall score in 2025, dude.
Yeah.
Pierre Engvall scored a goal in 2025.
Noah Dobson scored though, and hey, future Penguin Noah Dobson.
Future Penguin Noah Dobson.
He scored. Kyle Palmieri scored 17 seconds into the third period on a brutal turnover at the blue line. It hit the post and it bounced off of Jarry's back and into the goal. And then Noah Dobson ties it not long after that. Pierre Engvall, like we said, scored at 13:08. That was the go-ahead and eventual game winner. Simone Holmstrom puts an empty netter to seal it. And the Islanders are a team that won't die in the playoff race. Again, right now on the outside looking in, probably...
They won't die, period, Robbie. Team, they do nothing for me. I would say the New York Islanders, whether I'm a Penguins fan or not, I can take my fandom out of this and say, as an enjoyer of the NHL who watches a lot of hockey, the New York Islanders have not done anything for me since... I mean, I've been watching them since, Tavares was the new kid on the block there.
Yeah.
That team has never been... The way they play, the jerseys, the fan base, all of it sucks to me. Relegate them to the AHL. But they won't die. That's the thing.
They won't die. They cannot be killed. Them making the playoffs is just a brutal watch.
Bettman might march down into Lou's office and say, there is no way on God's green earth this team is taking it, that this team is going to the playoffs. You need to start a dignified tank immediately.
I mean, if you want to say that a silver lining is the better they are, the more likely Lou hangs around, and they just are never actually good.
That's a good point.
I mean, if they just hang around, and Lou is too stubborn to retire, they're probably going to have to actually put him on a raft and just float him off Long Island. But
he's 80 years old, dude.
Oh, he's super old. He's super old.
And he's making decisions for a hockey club in 2025. That's scary stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he signed Pierre Engvall. Pierre Engvall is not a great hockey player, and he signed him to a 6-year deal.
I was never really a runner. The way I see running is a gift, especially when you have stage 4 cancer. I'm Anne. I'm running the Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America. I run for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute to give people like me a chance to thrive in life, even with cancer.
Join Bank of America in helping Anne's cause. Give if you can at BofA.com/support-Ann. What would you like the power to do? References to charitable organizations is not an endorsement by Bank of America Corporation. Copyright 2025.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistant's assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
This episode is brought to you by Prime Video. In the small town of Holland, Michigan, nothing is ever what it seems. Behind the tulip festivals and pretty houses lay dark secrets that threaten to tear a marriage apart. Nicole Kidman stars in this darkly twisted thriller about a wife and mother whose quest to uncover her husband's secrets may get her more than she bargained for. Holland, streaming on Prime Video March 27th.
Clorox Sentiva smells like grapefruit. Cleans like Clorox. And feels like...
Okay, we could be here all day. Try Clorox Sentiva for a trusted clean with long-lasting freshness. Also available in lavender and coconut. Use as directed.
Yeah, and I wanted the Penguins to sign Pierre Engvall too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a great sign.
Jump through this screen. I could jump through the screen right
Glad
now.
we dodged that bullet. Because he was an ex-Flyer, or not ex-Flyer, an ex-Leaf. So, like, I figured Kyle Dubas was going to be all over that.
Yeah, and, I understand. Like, he never seemed like he really reached his potential as a Leaf because, he's got size to him, and he's there's just no physicality, and they thought he would be kind of more of like a secondary goal scorer, and he can't even do that. That guy cannot check. And that guy just infuriates me, and he's not even on a team that I care about. That's how much he infuriates me. So I'm really glad we dodged that bullet, Robbie.
Yeah, I will absolutely agree with that. And thankfully, they don't have to worry about that contract on top of all the other ones they got to try to get rid of.
Exactly.
But no, they blow this game against the Islanders. It snaps their winning streak. I was like, man, they won 5 in a row. That's a pretty good feeling.
When's the last time they won 5 in a row?
I believe last season. Yeah, last season.
Was it at the end of the year?
No, it was right around Thanksgiving again. They clicked off 5 in a row, or right around Christmas or something like that. I went back and looked. But it was right around Christmas. But yeah, that would have been a nice little. Hey, I mean, they suck, but it's fun to win hockey games. I mean,
it is.
Yeah, it's fun to win hockey games. But now they have Columbus coming into town on Friday, a Columbus team that is right now really struggling. They've fallen out of a playoff spot for the time being. They've lost 3 in a row. So the Penguins will get another desperate hockey team. Every team they seem to play right now is a desperate hockey team, but
yep. But the Blue Jackets, I mean, they're struggling, but they're a good team still. Like they've got Dean Evason is a great coach. I mean, Adam Fantilli's like turning into the number 1 center that he was kind of drafted as, with Monahan being out. They've got a bunch of blue collar dudes on that team that can hit, fight, score. Matthew Olivier might have taken over as like the new Tom Wilson, that a unicorn that can score, kill penalties, maybe even. I think you could probably put him on your power play if you want. Yeah, Werenski. He's not my Norris winner, but I would say that he's arguably in the conversation for the Norris.
Oh yeah,
I think if he got that team to the playoffs, because I think he's their leading point getter. If he's a guy that gets that team to the playoffs, he'd probably be a Norris favorite.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's I think he's going to probably be a finalist either way. Just the way he's playing this year. But
for the next 10 years, is it going to be anybody? I mean, who's going to throw their name in the hat other than Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes every year? It's like he's like the outlier.
It's going to be like the third guy's going to rotate every year. It'll be Makar, Hughes, and then whatever guy's having a good year.
Yeah, it could be Werenski. It could be Hedman coming back and looking good. It could be
Doughty.
Doughty. Lane Hudson's going to probably be one of those perennial guys that every year his name's in the
Lane. Yeah, Cole and Lane, I think, are going to be there.
Boy, that's kind of scary that Washington
that's terrifying.
Washington is they did what we hoped the Penguins would do in that short amount of time.
And the Penguins could have easily taken Cole Hudson over Owen Pickering, but Montreal's coming too. Montreal, don't sleep on the Canadiens. The Canadiens, I'm not saying they'll make the playoffs this year, but they are not. They're not far off. They are cooking right now. And again, you can complain about Montreal all you want, but I think hockey's better when they're at least competitive, because that building gets electric, and it's so much fun.
It is, and they've in our time, I would say in this, like, let's just say the Sidney Crosby, Ovi era, the Habs have been bad, but they've also been good at times.
Yeah.
When they had Price and Subban and
Halak.
Halak, and they've had like a number of great players up there. The Habs, like you said, hockey's better when they're in the playoffs and when they're good. It'll be, dude. There could be a lot of Canadian teams in the playoffs this year, I think.
Yeah, it seems like that way. It seems like Ottawa finally is going to get over that hump and be in the playoffs. Winnipeg obviously is going to be one of the favorites. Montreal is right there in that mix. Right now, they do hold a playoff spot. They've won 7, or they have points in 9 of the last 10. Edmonton's going to be in the playoffs. Vancouver, Calgary are all fighting for positioning. So you're going to have a decent Toronto. Obviously, I keep forgetting about the Leafs, but they're right there as well. So Canada's going to have a chance to get a cup again, and who knows? At some point, they're going to win one. Just I enjoy it when
odds.
I just enjoy it when they're down. But how do you feel about answering a few questions?
I'm down to hit me. Let's go.
All right. These are all from Edward.
All righty.
But before we get into them, he did mention. Not a question, but Stockholm in November.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I knew that there were discussions that eventually at some point they were going to play in Europe again. I did not expect it to be next year, but the Penguins and Nashville Predators are headed to Stockholm, Sweden next November for a pair of games. Great. I mean, it's good that Crosby will get to go overseas one more time. I was kind of holding out. It was going to be the Czech Republic just for the connections with Jágr. But
oh, sure.
Yeah. But again, plenty of Swedish representation on these two teams. And that kind of leads us into Edward's first question here. Will Erik Karlsson and Rickard Rakell still be on the Penguins for their trip to Sweden next year?
I think that's what everyone thought when this got posted.
I laughed. I kind of did laugh when I saw the graphic.
I like how it was like, I think it had the graphic that I saw at least had Karlsson and Sid on it. And then it had Yossi and Forsberg on the for the Preds. So 3 Swedes out of 4 hockey players pictured. I think that they're going to be on the team. I think moving Karlsson for me, I'm not at a point, I'm not at a place mentally where I want to delve into, thinking about getting rid of Chris Letang. But I've been saying it that you only need one of those guys. You don't need both. And you have right now Chris Letang, he's not a power play guy anymore. My point is Karlsson is still capable of being a number 1 D-man offensively. I think he can be potent on the power play. I think that you just don't get rid of him because you had a bad season. The Penguins are where they are. He essentially expressed that he would love to stay in Pittsburgh, and he's not asking for a trade, and he's going to be here until he's asked to leave, essentially.
Yeah.
I think he likes playing with Sid. I think he kind of is like, I think he likes Pittsburgh. Like, I don't have any reason to think when he's unhappy, Karlsson says he's unhappy. I don't think they're going to move Karlsson. I don't think it'd be wise to move Karlsson. And Rickard Rakell, oddly enough, I think he's the one that's more of a wild card, whether he's here or not. I
would agree with that.
I was going to say, Robbie, and I don't know if you agree with this, but I think I'd said this maybe on the last pod or the pod before. I think there's going to be teams this year in the playoffs that think that they should have gone farther and they're going to lose out. Someone's not going to be able to score. And I think that somebody is going to come knocking for Rickard Rakell in the offseason as a knee-jerk reaction. They're going to be like, we needed that extra scoring. We needed a second-line winger that can pot us a few more goals. I think someone's going to make a knee-jerk reaction and offer Dubas a haul for Rakell as a knee-jerk reaction to a loss in the playoffs. That's my prediction.
I could absolutely I absolutely am on board with that line of thinking. I think that you absolutely – I'm trying to I mean, there's obviously 16 teams that this could be. I could see, like, if a team like – even a team like Edmonton.
That's who I think it'll be.
Because, like, they need – like, obviously you have your Bouchard, McDavid, Draisaitl, but to have another guy on a second line that can pot you goals like Rakell has this season. Again, he's coming off at least 31 goals. He's probably going to score at least 35. Would love to see him get to 40. But again, and not only that, his assist numbers have climbed as the season's gone along too. And again, he's worked with Crosby. You're going to put him with McDavid or Draisaitl.
Well, Draisaitl's playing with Victor Arvidsson, who has 9 goals.
Yeah.
And Draisaitl just hit 100 points. Like, think about him with throw Rakell on that line, who can score in a multitude of ways.
Imagine putting a guy like Rakell with Draisaitl or McDavid on that contract that he's on.
Exactly.
I mean, the return on investment there could be huge for both teams. But if you're Dubas, like if a team like Edmonton became calling, I would absolutely be asking for a haul. Obviously,
what did Dubas want for him? It was rumored. Was it 2 first-round picks and their best their best prospect?
I think so.
I want to say that it was something like that. Kind of outrageous, but hey, if that's what you want for the guy, you don't need to trade him.
Yeah, because if they end up, if it's October 7th next year, and you're lining up with Rickard Rakell, I'm completely fine with that as well.
Yeah, I don't want Rakell gone. It's not like he's played himself out of Pittsburgh. I like what he brings, and he's a great scorer. I think he's a great hockey player. He doesn't shy away from physicality. He can score in a lot of different ways, like I've praised him for before. He's not like a Steven Stamkos or an Ovi where he just sits in one area and he wants the puck and he tries to roof it. He can go to the front of the net. He can score from like the goal line. He can, he's got a big tool bag for scoring goals, and he's on that good contract. He stays relatively healthy. He's had that one health blip last year, but other than that, he's a pretty durable guy. Yeah, I think that Rakell's the guy for me. I think sounds like for you too, Robbie, that if anyone's not going to be here, it's going to be him.
Yeah, I think you could easily see Rakell, if you're balancing on what you're going to get, like Carlson, I think could still pull a decent package in return, but a guy, Rakell's younger, he provides you that offensive spark. He's proven he can work well with your top stars. So I absolutely think that Rakell could definitely, in terms of like return, Rakell's probably the better trade piece. And like you said, you're going to find a team that's going to lose in the first or second round. They're going to lose in like a 7-game series or 6-game series that is incredibly tight. And you're going to think back and, man, if they just would have scored this one goal in overtime, or they would have been able to put one of these games away with just a backbreaker, they're going to come calling. And again, there's going to be 16 teams out there, and half of those teams are going to be gone by the second round. So, I mean, you're going to have a bunch of teams come calling. Edmonton just came to my mind because it feels like that is the way Edmonton would lose a series. Just not having that extra goal,
right?
Especially in the playoffs where the game tightens up. Dallas, I don't know what they have in terms of draft picks with all the trades they made. But don't sleep on a team that is making to look a splash too. Utah in the offseason.
Yeah, Utah, dude, great point. Utah, I know that they're open for business. They like whether they make the playoffs or not. I know that they want. I know that their GM and their ownership group, they want to make some splashes and they want to. I don't want to say take gambles, but they want to go out there and they want to get some better players out there. And I mean, Raquel, I could see Raquel fitting in nicely. He can play on that PP with those young guys. He can add that 5-on-5 scoring that I think that they need sometimes. Another team that I thought might be sniffing around on a guy like Raquel is, and at this point it's redundant to bring up the Vancouver Canucks because of Jimmy Rutherford. But I mean, fellow countryman Elias Pettersson, they got rid of JT Miller, that whole issue up there. You need to get Elias Pettersson going again, and two guys that play on the national team together. He'd look really good slotting in on that top line alongside Elias Pettersson or alongside Elias Pettersson on the first unit power play. I think Rick Tocchet is not somebody. I mean, Raquel's been under Sullivan for years. Rick Tocchet's not someone that scares Rickard Raquel. As far as a coach goes, he's not going to ask him to do anything he's not uncomfortable with. I could see them. What about Buffalo?
Man, Buffalo's such a wild card just because you just never, if they're going to be, Buffalo's a team that could really swing just because they feel like they have to do something to change it up. Buffalo's a team where they had a lot of first round picks the last few years. There's a lot of prospects there. If Buffalo wants to swing big and they're willing to make the deal, that's someone that I'm definitely listening to because I think they have the pieces.
Yeah, I'm always listening because they've got probably a couple future Conn Smythe winners on that team that are just buried in a bad organization. Yeah. I just feel I like Raquel enough that I almost feel like I wouldn't want to do business sending him there.
Yeah, I mean, they're like, it's like, okay, I mean, yeah, but I mean, Alex Tuck has toughed it out there, and everybody seems to like him. So
I like Alex Tuck guys.
Yeah, but all right, another question here from Ed again. Like I said, Edward again. Is it more important for the young guys in Wilkes-Barre to come up and get some NHL experience now, or have a Calder Cup run?
See, this is a question that I ask myself every once in a while, Robbie. For me, I think I've come to the conclusion. And, this isn't swayed by the recent winning streak either, because the playoffs for the Penguins for me are dead. There is no playoff push. The something bigger for me than positioning for that like lottery draft or whatever is making Jari tradable. I think that's bigger for me.
Yeah.
So I would say just let those dudes down there in Wilkes marinate and let them go on a Calder run. Let those guys kind of let that like bolster the brotherhood down there. Have those guys create chemistry and relationships with each other. And I'm telling you, next year, if not next year, out of camp at points down the road in next season, I think you're going to see like a wholesale swap of players come up from Wilkes-Barre, much like they did back in 2016, 2015-16 with Sullivan. All of a sudden you're going to see like a patch of the roster just be like those guys that were down there cooking. I think you let them go on a run this year and you just have more to look forward to in camp come summertime.
Yeah, what do you think? I'm in the same boat with that. I think that the smart decision is let them down there I know it's not obviously not NHL playoff experience, but it's still elimination playoff experience. Let them cook down there. They have these are going to be guys that you're going to need and playing together, hopefully for years to come. Let them marinate, let them build chemistry, and really just let them get as much ice time as possible. Because if we're being honest, if you're calling up a guy now, he's going to fill in for 10, 12, 15 minutes a night. I'd rather have guys like Koivunen, McGroarty, Bros getting 18, 20 minutes a night, to be honest, and scoring goals and not coming up here getting third line minutes, being able to get down there, get first line, get power play time, and just kind of build up their chemistry, their own games, and then let Murashov cook.
Let Murashov cook because he's the piece. I think he's more important for me at this point, Robbie, than McGroarty, than Pickering. Murashov has become, not to put pressure on the kid, but goaltending's in a bad way in Pittsburgh this year, and I think just altogether right now up with the big club. But you've got a plethora of promise down in the minors.
He's the most important player in the Penguin system right now. He's more important than McGroarty. He's more again. That's not all these guys are important. I think their most important forward is probably Billy Koivunen, if we're being honest,
because of the weight of the Gensel trade.
That, and I really think that like he's the most like if you're putting a guy from that Wilkes-Barre team on the roster next year, like I think he is the dude. Like if they do move Raquel, I think Billy Koivunen's a first line player.
That'll be interesting to see. And it's so weird in the NHL. I've never understood this. I mean, I get it in a certain sense, but I love when you take a guy who's killing it in the minors and he's a prospect and you take him out of his comfort zone in Wilkes-Barre, for example, first unit power play, has chemistry with a top line, and you stick him on a fourth line in the NHL and you're like, yeah, enjoy your 6 minutes. Let's see how you adapt. I think that's just I think that you're going to see that phase out eventually. If you want these guys to succeed, I understand that culture of like taking a guy from the minors and you're replacing a veteran probably on your roster, or you're replacing somebody that's, a second line player. That's a big deal to replace. But if you really want to see this player kind of in that environment, you got to give him a run in the environment, like it with the minutes and the power play time that he's getting down in the minors. I just don't understand why some of like Sullivan, Jonah Koppinen, I think that those kind of players, Boko Imama, slot them in on the fourth line, whatever.
Yeah.
But if you're calling up Billy Koivunen at the end of the year to get some time, don't put him on the fourth line with Kevin Hayes and Boko Imama.
No, put him with the actual playmakers where you can see like his full range of skills and
exactly
how he works with Crosby, Malkin, Raquel, Rust. Putting him just to simply shift guys up the lineup, that doesn't do anything, especially when you're a team in the situation the Penguins are in right now. You're in the long term, you're benefiting much more from these guys playing in the AHL than in the NHL.
100%. And Robbie, I'm looking at this Twitter list of some questions here from thank you, Ed. I need to ask you this one because you're I don't know if you're Irish or not. Do you celebrate St. Patrick's Day?
So I did this year because it was a Monday.
You did?
I did not.
Oh, you didn't? I thought you said you did. I was like, how many green beers did you have?
No, I didn't have any green beers. What I did though is Monday night I had Guinness mac and cheese for dinner.
Guinness mac and cheese. So what in the hell does that mean?
It is mac and cheese, but the cheese is beer cheese made with Guinness stout.
Wow, so you split the G with mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was it good?
I liked it. I like beer cheese though. I'm a huge fan of beer cheese.
Yeah, beer cheese is significantly better than other cheeses.
Yes,
I think, right?
Like
beer cheese on a pretzel, right? Like, so good.
So good. No, but did you celebrate St. Patrick's Day?
No, I didn't. And you know what? I thought about it. I actually had the idea, should I just like walk down to my local pub and get a Guinness or get a green beer and a shot of Jameson? And I really entertained that thought for a while. And I was like, if I'm doing this, it's going to only be me by myself. And, the night just started to slip away. I ended up having a couple drinks that night just at home. But no, I didn't end up celebrating St. Patty's Day. And when I see online, St. Patty's Day is definitely like a young man's holiday.
Yeah.
It's like, I think of like when my buddies were in college and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've had some great St. Patty's Days in the past. I remember actually not the first time. My buddy's brother lives in Vancouver, BC, just north of the border here. And Canada, I think, might celebrate. Canada might, as a whole, celebrate St. Patrick's Day better than like especially like St. Patty's Day is probably not as big on the West Coast in the U.S. as it is on the East Coast.
Yeah, because most of the Irish immigrants immigrated to the East, like
exactly.
Boston, Philly, New York. Yeah, yeah.
So I went north of the border one time, and I had the best St. Patrick's Day I could have ever had in my life. in Vancouver, BC. It's definitely a young man's game, like I said, and I see these kids, and I'm just like, man, so much green beer,
Oh, dude. No,
just like
yeah.
odd costumes and stuff. Good for them, but Robbie, I think we're a little bit past our prime as far as that goes.
Oh, I've been way past my prime when it comes to extreme beer drinking holidays for, the occasional beer here or there, or the mixed drink, the wine, whatever. But to go out there and go from 9 a.m. to midnight, I'd be in a ditch at like noon.
Dude, I don't have what it takes to like marathon drink at night like that.
No, can't do it anymore. Can't do it anymore.
And just the debauchery that comes with an evening like that.
I'd be so miserable. Yeah.
But that I enjoy the holiday spirit. I guess, my question would be shooting back at Ed. Do you celebrate St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah, I mean, Ed, I believe, is from England. So I don't know what the English situation is, but Ed, when you listen to this, just pop in that comment there and let us know. How do you celebrate St. Patrick's Day over in the British Isles?
I would like to know that as well. And did you have any green beers, or do you guys do that?
Is that just an American thing?
Is that an American thing? Exactly, like Cinco de Mayo.
Yes. We're going to eat these American tacos.
For American, for a Mexican independent holiday.
Yeah.
So, anyways, well,
all right.
Few questions up, few questions down.
Yeah, hopefully next week we can get a few more on there. The Penguins play Friday night, and then I believe they play Sunday. I could be wrong about that, though. The schedule does lighten up here a little bit. They play Sunday at 6:00. Yes, they go south. They have a Sunday, Tuesday, Florida swing. There are Sunday the 23rd. They are in Sunshine or Sunrise for a game against the Panthers, and then Tuesday they are in Tampa Bay. But before that, they wrap up their 5-game homestand with the Columbus Blue Jackets on Friday evening.
Good stuff. It'll be interesting to see if I wouldn't imagine, like we had just talked about, there's not going to be any kids probably like coming up to make the season interesting, but the Jonah Kopanens of the world, the Boko Amamas are probably going to be getting some looks. You're going to see the D rotating. You're going to Graves is going to probably get a couple more games. Shea is going to get a couple more games. It's just kind of all, how would you call it? Like business as usual to kind of wind down these last, 15 games?
Yeah,
games?
I think it's just going to be pretty much business as usual for the Penguins. Just kind of get through, I think, 4 weeks here of hockey. They have 12 games left. Obviously, the big thing to watch out for will be Sidney Crosby.
Yep,
needing 6 points. 6 points, I believe it is, to lock in a 20th straight point per game season, which is very incredible.
Absolutely,
absolutely. But hey, I mean, we're going to watch the playoffs. I know that much, whether the Penguins are in it or not. So we'll have stuff with that.
We'll be covering the playoffs as Penguins fans, watching from the sidelines.
We will definitely be covering them because it wouldn't be right to just, turn off the mics.
Penguins hockey, despite the year, these playoffs are shaping up to be just super. The race to get into the playoffs for some of these teams is going to be riveting TV to watch, and then the playoffs themselves never disappoint. The first round is always, it's like March Madness. It's a bloodbath, upsets, crazy stuff happening. Teams that, there's been a lot of rumblings of like, should they go back to the old seeding for these playoffs? Because Dallas and the Avs might be playing each other in the first round, and these are teams that could win the cup.
Yeah, there's going to be a banger of matchups in the first round. You're going to have two of Toronto, Florida, and Tampa Bay going head-to-head in the first round. You're going to have probably Dallas and Winnipeg, Dallas and Colorado going to head-to-head in the first round. Minnesota is still in that mix as well. The Kings are going to have their season ended by the Edmonton Oilers again. Vegas.
I don't know. I think the Kings are going to get the best of the Oilers if they meet in the first round. I'm telling you, and then the Oilers are going to.
The reaction.
They're going to call their savior Ricard Raquel.
That would be something wild. I will say.
Maybe even pick up Jari because Stuart Skinner's going to soil the bed.
Hey, if they want to take that contract off the books, more power to him.
You never know. Is it Stan Bowman? Is that his son who runs the operation there? You never know what that guy's going to do.
No, you don't. You truly don't. Could be.
I mean, they picked up Jeff Skinner to help win this year.
Yeah.
I mean, boneheads.
But Vegas is still lurking too. I mean, they're there. Yeah. But yeah, you're gonna have some banger matchups in the first round here. Looking forward to it as always. So Snail, if you don't have anything else, I'm gonna wrap this up. He says no. So for Snail, I'm Robbie. We'll talk to you guys sometime here in the future with some more recaps in a mailbag. So until then, take it easy, be safe. Thanks for listening.